Hello in a new episode of Walk Me Through a Project. My guest today is HiHelga, whom you may know from an interview that I've done for Undertone a while ago. Hello, Helga, how are you?
Hi, greetings. How's it going?
So before we move on to you actually walking me through this project that we see on the screen, I heard you have something coming up sometime soon, or not? Would you like to tell something more about it?
Yeah, I don't know if it's like maybe my longest, most like worked on project so far and stuff, and yeah, I've just been working on it for a couple of years and I've not really been making myself rush too much, but yeah, it's taken forever, but I'm definitely kind of closing in on final steps and stuff, so hopefully it will be ready soon. I don't know, we'll see.
Would you like to reveal the title of this upcoming release?
This is Crystal MUNTER, Coke Smoke Girl, and the OPIOD Christ's Sister, Isis Delight. Yeah, I don't know. This is like the working title. We'll see how much can get printed onto the cover after all. But yeah, I'm really excited.
Well, I can reveal that I've heard some of it already.
Yeah.
And I think I've told you that it's like songwriting wise, I think it's your most accomplished project so far, because like this album is mostly carried by actual songs, not
Yes.
rather than walls of break beats like sometimes in the past.
Yeah, totally. I feel like I kind of stuck with a simpler instrument palette or something, but yes, definitely songwriting. There's like something kind of tying it together after all, but I think that will be revealed with the release. But definitely, yeah, a lot of like kind of singles so far that have like been played and distributed already, like stuff just in other stages. So I don't know, I'm kind of just like, yeah, I've been stuck on this one thing for quite a while, it feels like. So I'm pretty stoked to just like get rid of it like forever finally and be able to move on. But yeah, still a couple things to do. But there's like a bunch of collaborations and stuff. So it's definitely like trying to make sure everything feels complete to my liking. I don't know. But it's, yeah, so much of it I feel like it's just been done for so long and stuff. But I think everything after this that I work on, I hope I can just kind of like bust out as quick as possible. Like, I don't know. Change the pace a little, but yeah, almost there.
Yeah, well, I certainly am not going to help you out with this, given that we are going to dissect some of this material in here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and this song even is one of these ones that's been sitting around for a while. It's kind of like, like one of the most like more organized like styles, I guess, of my producing. Like I feel like there's a couple different ways that I kind of go about making songs and writing songs, and this is like probably the most organized and like legible format or something, so it's going to make it easy to walk through, because other times I feel like it can be a mess, and this one is like kind of like a more rare example of like when something has kind of like flowed naturally and I've been able to like finish something in like not a long time and stayed excited about it while I was working on it. And part of that is probably because it's easily organized and stuff and kind of following the format that I kind of stuck with on a lot of the songs on my new tape. That's like kind of just using similar plugins, the same plugins, similar sounds, and just like, yeah, having a similar palette. So there's kind of this like easy to follow, like, I don't know, guidelines set up. So I guess that's something that ties in all these songs, and this song is like a pretty good example of all this.
So you know what, maybe like why don't you actually walk me through this project, like at least how it is organized, like all those layers, what do they do?
Yeah, so starting, it's all just low end stuff, like super easy. I just kind of broke it up by stuff I got. with as many layers as I want, and then kind of start adding other stuff. So it's like I'm starting by making kind of a boring version or like a less like populated thing. So I probably started with like one of these, or I guess the pad.
Would you like to single those layers out so we can hear it?
Yes, yeah. So let's look at it. So let's see. Just like a Serum preset, I guess. Super easy. Just took it from the presets and then maybe change some things around slightly. I can't really remember. But yeah, I'd probably start with like a simple layer like that. And then the first mid layer, which is violin.
What was this violin plugin? What like?
I don't know. Let's see. BCC Symphony or BBC Symphony Orchestra 64-bit. I don't know. Yeah, I think it was just a free orchestra plugin, but it has everything basically. So I feel like I'm using that on a lot of initial layers. Here, I want to find a spot where it's like all of them at once. Piano. Simple grand piano. Just the stock plugin. So here, just a low end kicks in. That's just like a bass, like in from the same symphony plugin.
Your bass is just like unmodified, like low violin sound, and that's all.
But yeah, so far like just simple instruments, all from the plugin. That's like, or not simple, but just like orchestra instruments, and the pad that I took from just the presets.
Do you always start with those like synths and melodies and then add rhythm section to it?
Yeah, I feel like it's like a building up process. It's like I'm saying, like I always start with like kind of like just kind of, especially with this whole tape, like a lot of the songs, it's just like I'll make kind of like a no percussion, like no like synths really and stuff, and just kind of like build up like kind of symphony like kind of compositions, I guess, for that I could like extend to most of the songs and kind of like maybe sequence them a little bit, but just like only like, yeah, using like the stock instruments to kind of just make like the root of the song, you know, and then start going in with more sound design in Serum mostly probably, which is kind of like the next layer. So I mean, let's see. So I'm gonna play it again. So here, I think it just kicked in with like the bass, and there's like some impacts and other stuff that I'll get into in a minute. But there's just like a little kind of like supporting melody on that I've labeled in like the high end. So that's just like one of the highs. Yeah, and it is. Yeah, I think it's just like I have a bunch of like patches that I have saved of my own, just in my user library. And this is from my Crystal Meth Castles series, which are like a bunch of I don't know. I think I can walk through, I guess, how I made it, but I think I just made a bunch of LFO shapes that are all going to different places. So the first one is changing the wavetable of this one and the octave of the second oscillator, and it's doing the same thing on the first one. And I think it's going some other places too, but maybe not. But yeah, anyway, it sounds like this.
By the way, what's with that serum? I'm not using this plugin, but I see that everyone does. Like every other sound design tutorial is for this particular plugin. Why
I feel
is
like,
that?
I don't know, like love it or hate it. I kind of feel like it's just like a comfort zone or something. And I still like I've been using it for like years and like still kind of like I don't know. There's always like more to learn in it. I guess it's kind of like all DAWs or something, but it's I don't know. I feel like it's just like a comfort zone for me and stuff that I end up using a lot. And I like learning and using other plugins too and stuff. But I guess just like maybe just even for like this project or something in general, like I've just always used so much Serum. I feel like there's lots of tutorials and like I feel like a lot of the time, even if I follow one of them, I like don't really do it correctly. So then you kind of end up with like crazier results. And like I think just that's like a kind of like thing that I like about it is that you can really subtly like modify stuff and get crazily different sounds. Like it's like really there's just like a lot of like ways that you can like tweak stuff that kind of drastically changes it, I guess. So that's kind of cool for like someone who's not the most technically brained and stuff to kind of like get a little intuitive with once you get sort of used to where everything's at and stuff. But yeah, I like it a lot. I've used it forever. Let's keep moving. Leading up after the intro. Just like some kind of riser, or it's like an impact, I think, that I might have like reversed. So it's just like reverse impact, and then it seems like maybe the same impact going forward, just to amp shit up. Yeah, easy way to like just kind of like not search for like another sample of a riser or something, I guess, if you're lazy. But then I think it starts out right when this kind of intro is over and first drop happens. It's like so I probably wouldn't have put my glitches in until later, but they're just right here. And so just like little like kind of glitch solo at the beginning.
Is it this fig that you have shown me like last summer? Those chops?
Maybe, probably. I feel like it was like this one or another one. Yeah, probably this one. This is definitely the most like organized one. Like and stuff. I feel like it's the easiest to show. So most likely, this is from like a drum rack that's just like samples from some different Castlevania games that I think I got like years ago, and I've made like this drum rack was like originally one that I made in Renoise a couple years ago, and it's just like the only kind of effects. I think there might be like some distortion and compression on it from the samples. Recorded, like there was compression on it when these samples were recorded into here. But then it's just mapped to like a pitch knob and there's like a little filter here, but I don't think I really used it very much for this layer at least. But it sounds like this alone. So they're basically, I think it's just the same thing looped twice, the same MIDI, but with just different automation on the pitch. And then I guess, yeah, there's this filter over here too that I didn't even notice. Like, and then it also has in Serum effects. So this is just the like VST that's only the effects.
All right.
That I didn't have this until more recently. I didn't know you could have this, but it's like no oscillators and stuff, so you can just use their effects. And I like their distortions and stuff, so that's been cool to add to this glitch track. But yeah, so there's some automation in there like later, I think. But for now, just lots of pitch. Okay. So.
And what, do you have some kind of like MIDI controller to just twist the knobs,
like,
or what?
I have like and stuff in the past, but like honestly, like, yeah, I don't know. I've kind of like lost or like I've never had like a consistent MIDI controller. Unfortunately, I always really want one, and I should get one because then I could be doing this live more often. And I've done stuff like this live a little bit in the past, but it was kind of short-lived because so was my gear. But, so I'm doing a lot of this stuff mostly just by hand and with my mouse and stuff. Like, I definitely use the mouse, so that's kind of my MIDI controller at this point, which sucks. But I don't know. Sometimes also with this stuff, I'll like do kind of a loose version, I guess, with the mouse, like automation, and then maybe like go back in and kind of sculpt it with the pen. But yeah, drawing it into a lot of the time. But yeah, having a MIDI controller is definitely like the funnest way. So, but yeah, this isn't fun. This is business. So yeah, I guess another impact, like when the song kind of kicks in. I'll just play it without the vocals. So yeah, just kind of normal drum beat with just a bunch of samples and a drum rack that I kind of have saved in like my user library, like my presets and stuff. So I kind of just have, with this album, especially in more recent years, kind of just like have a couple saved, so it's like quick, and you can just like grab them and have it. So I can put this on first with like the orchestra like aspect of the song, so like the original version of the song, before I go and add synths and glitches and stuff. Would probably be like something more like this. Okay, so yeah, starts out, yeah, it's just like kind of the boring drums, and then adding more layers, more complications, like every time I go back to it. So it's kind of just like, can be on somewhat of a loop with glitches that are like changing. And I feel like this is me labeling it change, so that as I'm going through it, I have to change it. But I think I've already done this. The song is done. So it's just kind of like arrangement, and then like I'll come up with an arrangement in maybe like one pitch, and then just go and add different automations all the way through. Maybe play all of it through, but kind of just taking it like piece by piece usually. But then with the rest of the song, yeah, so like up here, a second low gets like introduced. So this is like kind of like a respace, I think. Yeah, kind of like the witch house kind of one or whatever.
I just wanted to say this, that it sounds quite witch housey, which is surprising because like your music as in the final product is nothing like this.
No, totally. I think it's like, it's just using same kind of tools or something maybe, but I don't know. I think I literally just like looked up. I was like probably just watching some tutorials of like random Serum sound design. I think I kind of like might have even found that like that it was even called this from that or something. But yeah, so like there's like a basic one, and then these are like I guess two like times that I kind of modified it to my liking and saved it like in my presets. I guess I don't know with what, but BM, so kind of a I guess more black metal sounding one. Wait. Yeah. Kind of swarming. So yeah, I guess that's just like the next low out of 4 that comes in that kind of gets more energy kind of moving or something. Intensity. And then kind of the lead solo, but I think it's coming at the same time as. Yeah, so there's kind of like these two highs at the same time. I think this is like, also Crystal Meth Castles, but just like a higher pitched kind of melody that's similar and kind of repeating.
How do you approach like mixing all of this? Because there are so many layers, and I wonder how it works as a whole.
Yeah, it sucks. Like I don't know. Like I feel like this is like this, and with this song and a couple others, like it's kind of worked out naturally, and I'm kind of mixing as I go a little bit. But I am like, I feel like that's the biggest struggle with me about music is just mixing and stuff. It's like, it's so annoying and endlessly difficult. A lot of times I'm kind of like, so not even here. I feel like with my vocals especially, it's like the hardest thing for me. But with this, it just kind of looks like slight like EQ boosts. Because I think by the time that I'm adding this, it's like the song is still pretty organized with the layers. So all of these, like the orchestra instruments, I guess, like it's like part of the logic is maybe just that I know that they're mixed well together. Like, just like, that a guitar and a bass and like a drum kit are like kind of proven that to be mixable together instead of like a bunch of sounds that you don't know if it's like possible to mix it in or like something that's just like flipping away. So like, and that sounds so cool on its own, but it's like I'm like, I don't know, I feel like a lot of the times that's the stuff that I want to hear. But I think kind of doing this like weird compromise where like you're kind of like writing and doing songwriting with stuff that's like proven to mix together, and then getting that to like a perfect condition, then it's like you're kind of just like decorating that maybe with stuff that's like a little more hectic. And I think my problem is like my problem, but also kind of my solution is to like selectively like insert the kind of toxic shit into the other stuff, and like take it away at strategic times, I guess, which is maybe where my brain goes about it, but like, yeah, this one is like kind of just also, and on this tape a lot, there's like a lot of the same plugins, like, and same patches and stuff, and same kind of toolkit, and like kind of people in my band, like the instruments that are playing all at once. Like, and this is like another one, like Crystal Meth Castles, like it comes around a lot. That's just basic spooky. That's literally like, yeah, just kind of classic scary noise, and it's really simple. And I think this one is just literally the basic one. But then I have a separate thing that's all the effects, I guess. I don't know why I did it in a separate one, but I think it's just distortion getting fucked with. Yeah, I guess some downsample kind of like automation, but yeah, that's really it. But then altogether, I think moving on to like a different glitch rack, with like, yeah, more kind of risers. That's different than the one that I just was like a reverse impact before, to kind of build momentum in this song. That's not a riser, that's an impact. But yeah. And yeah, I think after a while of just kind of mostly probably not changing the MIDI a whole lot, like, you know, I guess maybe that's like breakcore cheat codes or something, but I mean, it's good to change the MIDI a lot, but I think sometimes, especially when I'm kind of focused on the song structure, I'll just end up getting lazy and just want to hear it, but then my automations can kind of make up for it and kind of maybe add to my song feeling more legible or something. I don't know, but some shit like that. But then now I'm in another rack that's like, I don't even know how I made this one. This one looks weird, but like this one is, I guess, sliced from like a big sample and just, yeah, I guess made to like the kind of automatic drum rack. But then I mapped all of them so that they can all be transposed from this one knob again. So then this is just new glitches that sound like. Yeah, but then paired with a normal drum rack, it sounds kind of cool and legible, and the glitches and stuff can kind of just act as like a cooler hi-hat, or like, I don't know, it's like it makes the drums, even if it's like a drum loop, legible in the background on top of it. It's kind of, I don't know, it makes it followable, yet I don't know, you're kind of like soloing like or something on top here.
Like, I wonder how much of, like, I don't know, like proper music logic is behind those glitches. Like, do you align them with the notes anyhow, or is it just you clicking around until something sticks?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess like maybe like a bit of a combo and stuff. Like it's like it's, I feel like it's definitely controlled randomness or something, but I think just like kind of like uh Yeah, I don't know. I like just kind of, I don't know. I guess just the way that I like think about drums or something is often like kind of tapping my feet and like kind of beatboxing in my head and in my mouth or something, and like just kind of like drum soloing, I guess, if that makes sense, like, or something, or just like kind of coming up with like a, yeah, it's like definitely like, yeah, I don't know, like musical, I guess, to an extent or something. If like when I think about it or something, it's just kind of, yeah, but it's like I don't know if it's like music logic, but maybe just like the closest thing I could think of would be like guitar solo, but with like percussion or something, but following and like going around like a simple beat. That's like, this one's kind of like drum and bass, like booch like one or whatever, but like I make it follow like just even 4 on the floor, and it's like you can kind of just add it in at places that are like feeling good. And I think with the transpose knob, when you're like changing the pitch of it, it's like, I don't know. I'm just like I've just gotten so familiar with like these samples even of my couple like racks that I use a lot, and just kind of like know when to kind of like pull the switch, and like I don't know. It's like I've just gotten like such interesting results with just that and stuff that make it feel musical.
During our first interview, we discussed something that you call breakcore logic. Could you show a practical example of the breakcore logic in your track?
Yeah, let's see. I mean, I guess like a literal example is kind of this whole tech of just, yeah, I don't know, decorating like a pre-existing beat or something in like a different way. But let's see. Let's search around. I think in the vocals maybe we can find an example. Let's see. So the vocals are also in hella different categories.
Yeah, if you want, you can, show us the entire like voice rack.
This voice rack is definitely, I wish I could call it a rack, but it's kind of just like a ton of layers of different recordings in the same recordings. Because my mic just records mono, so I even just kind of will like take mono recordings and then spread them out. But total, what it sounds like all together so far. This is just like alone. Like, so there's like baritone layers, I guess, which is gonna be cringy to listen to, but we'll check it out real quick. So it's like, I think I'm just singing, and then it might not even be pitched at all. Let's see. Oh, there is a couple things in here. So I've just like EQ'd the whole baritone layer or folder that has like 3 of them. And there's a compressor and a reverb. That's it. Let's see. Wait, go away. Okay. And then the other baritone layer has. So yeah, this one is just like the same vocals, but this one has this kind of pitch shifter and grain delay effect.
Grain delay is what gives this like lingering drony effect, right? After like the vocal lines.
I feel like it does a lot of crazy ass shit. And this is like one of these like Ableton plugins that I feel like I kind of have just like dive in pretty randomly with and stuff. So like I couldn't tell you how to be so specific with it, but this is like kind of like one of many like illegible layers that kind of just like give your vocals like weight and stuff. But it just sounds like this. Alright, so that's those, and then I guess master. So this is like a vocoder layer of vocals that are, let's see. Wait. So that's like a technique that I think I picked up a couple years ago, but it's like you can kind of just like map your vocoder. So this is just the same vocal recording, I think, as the ones up here. Yeah, so but they're going and they're panned to different sides all the way. But oh, they're both going through the same one. Okay. But yeah, EQ'd, but then the vocoder is going to like one of the melodic layers up here, like maybe to I could probably check which one, but it's probably just going to one of the violins or something. So then when my voice is going through it, it kind of like follows the melody, and like I'm not very talented at singing on pitch or like even know, or I'm capable of like kind of achieving that off the dome. So like I feel like when you add layers like this, kind of is a cool effect, but also can kind of like be some kind of like weird like cheat code auto tune thing or something. But yeah, just more like layering, I guess. And I think this metal one seems like it turns on, which is just kind of just like, I don't know, let's see. It probably sounds bad because it didn't make it in the whole song. So yeah, I guess there could just be like a black metal version of the whole song or something at the end of the day. But that's not how it turned out. So that I think at certain points throughout the track, like yeah, over here, I guess maybe it's the only spot, but I kind of am using that. This is maybe a breakcore logic thing or something, but it's just like using yeah, just pieces of like different kinds of vocals to sort of like accent at certain points and turning them on and off and mixing them in and out with just like volume probably mostly, or even just turning them on and off, and then having that kind of just be like the equivalent of like what an impact or a riser would be doing up here, kind of just like elevating your vocals at certain points. And that's true for all the vocal layers. But then the last one, which is that's on, I guess the last one that's on. But oh yeah, wait, we can just listen to grudge vocals. This is on a lot of other tracks where I kind of just try to sing all the lyrics along to the song only using vocal fry, and then it sounds like this. So these ones are definitely like pitched down. This one's pitched up, and this one's pitched down, but it sounds like it's even more.
Yeah, but there is also this like
oh
sort
yeah,
of
here
granular effect.
Yeah, that's erosion. It's probably that. Sometimes it kind of can add to and make it spike, but yeah, this one didn't make the final cut into the song. Let's see. Oh wait. Oh yeah, they're super granular. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but anyway, like yeah, the vocal fry thing can be a cool vocal layer to do. Also, if you're just like having trouble like recording vocals how you want them to or something, I kind of will do shit like this because I feel like that's always the hardest part for me is recording vocals and stuff. And I have to do it for long periods of time. I feel like usually it's the main thing that I'm procrastinating on about finishing songs. But it's also fun to get around to, and it's really neat, and there's so much that I end up doing and stuff that's, I guess, I feel like can be interesting, but it's also kind of, is a lot of the times, I feel like I'm not achieving quite where I want to be at, so it can be kind of this, like, mess of, like, recording, like, tons of different styles and, like, working on it a lot, and then just deciding to kind of, like, start again in a different way, and then that ends up working. But I think it's good to like even just have, and like if you are recording everything, it's cool to like come back and like be able to use pieces of tracks that you recorded that you don't like anymore, because maybe there was like one little thing that was good about it. And sometimes that's like also can be kind of cool glitch material and recordings and shit. So yeah, but then the last one that's like in the track is simply a whisper. So that's like something that I feel like I've been doing for a little while, where I just record whisper tracks because they sound cool just whispered, but it's also a way kind of like when I'm failing at like mixing and getting my vocals to feel like legible, which is kind of a new like thing that is like a goal of mine when I'm writing songs, because I like my lyrics and want them to be heard or something more legibly and stuff, and that kind of has like never been really a goal. So this is just like a technique that I feel like kind of helps me achieve that like a little bit, is just to kind of whisper along in the same way that I would do like a vocal fry vocal. That's also, I guess, a similar technique that helps stuff be legible. Sometimes it works, but the whisper can kind of just like, yeah, like if you're like over pronouncing like all your lyrics and stuff, it can like sit really quiet in the mix like below other vocals and kind of help them maybe be legible. But yeah, we'll see. But just alone, it's like within the side eye, she brushes their head, psychic psychosis, slides down. Yeah, so that just has delay and some overdrive. But yeah, all together. Yeah.
This vocal layering thing sort of reminds me of, My Bloody Valentine, like the OG shoegaze band, right? So for one of the songs, they did multiple vocal takes, and they kept feeling that it's still not it, basically. So they decided to layer all the takes that they have done so far and like combine it into this one big abomination of like 30 or 50 vocal tracks.
I definitely feel the frustration. Like,
yeah, but also it must have been really interesting to pull this off like in the early 90s when this album was recorded.
Yeah, I feel like it makes sense with like wall of sound, like, and stuff, which is like, I guess, like, yeah, I feel like it could come off as a good effect, but I think the part of the frustration can also be when you have a beat or something that you've like put that you want to also shine. It's kind of difficult, I think, like, because you have to, when you have such layered like songs in general, like you want everything to kind of like shine, the whole song. So it's like, you just have to like there's so many times where it's like I feel like even just the stems like hit just as hard as the whole song or something, it's like I want each stem to really be able to like be played on its own. So it's like you have to just maybe like strategically like put it in at certain points and then end up mixing it in like on some DJ shit. But
like to be fair, I'm really surprised that you even managed to mix everything like that, because it's still like quite selective, so to speak, but every sound is like overdriven and gritty. So
Yeah.
I'm still not sure I understand how you didn't have any like frequency clashes or something like that.
No, I think it like absolutely does. Like it's the problem and stuff. It's just like a matter of like turning stuff up and down. And like I don't know, almost like trying to automate like everything or something. But then I think with this one, this is just like I don't know. I just kind of have like this is like a track where I feel like it just all kind of came really naturally and not that long of like I didn't leave the track alone for too long at any point, and it's like yeah, like I don't know, it just worked because I think like the when I start with like yeah, so like the start of the track is only these 9 layers or something, you know, and then it's like that's already like a song, and then like the 10th layer is just the one drum track. It's like for me that's like so far so like I don't know like it's not too busy already to begin with, and then like even within the drums it's like there's like some kind of gabber kicks that are only in one part of the song that don't take up a lot of space. There's only one glitch track playing at a time for the most part, so it's like only the 11 kind of layers at once, which I guess in the grand scheme is not like the hardest. Like I feel like with that, it's like I don't know, trying to minimize like the amount of space that's like already taken up by the time that you get to the vocals or something. But I think that's like why in so many songs it kind of ends up being this thing where like I want to add vocals, but it almost feels like a disservice to the track or something. Like it's weird.
I guess you could say you are like a somewhat typical laptop Ableton producer, right? But I know that many of your inspirations are pretty far away from this because you were always talking a lot about some death rock bands and stuff like that. So how do you incorporate your influences that are outside of electronic music into your practice that is very much based on electronic devices and such?
I have some instruments around my house and stuff that I feel like I'm still in like amateur stages of, and like I feel like it's just those music that's inspiring or something. So I guess like maybe the initial way to like insert it into my music is just visual, but like also just emotionally maybe or something is a way. And I think like you know stuff. Maybe this is also a breakcore logic thing, but like songwriting and like starting with like only the grand piano or like with orchestra instruments or just instruments that can kind of translate to like guitar. It can translate to any instrument, you know. Like I don't know, that's like a way that I like to approach songwriting. That's like I don't know, could be coming from anywhere. Like it's just like maybe the computer is just like the easiest way for me to like have full control or something. But yeah, that's probably like I mean maybe my main thought process with that. But yes, certainly visual and vocally I think as well. Like probably like the main only inspiration.
Yeah, also rhythm section a lot of times, like a lot of times you have this like post-punkish percussion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess like yeah, percussion too, definitely. I mean, I think like that's kind of like where a lot of my songwriting also stems from, and how my background with music was just and like wanting to make music is mostly to program drums and do drum programming and stuff, and just like I think like yeah, like I think post punk kind of drum style and these beats are like kind of the easiest starting point before I'm even like adding like hi-hats, even just like having like just a kick and a snare is like a pretty normal start point for me when I'm just like messing around with ideas and everything. So like yeah, like either like with this song it's probably just simply orchestra instruments, but like the first thing after that is always just like adding like a kick and a snare. And I think a lot of the times I'm just kind of like yeah into this kind of like simple kind of beats that then I can like just start adding layer by layer on top of. It's complications every 4 bars or however so long.
This is a thing that I see even memes about, that people tend to never release anything and keep like second guessing themselves if the track is ready or not, and they sit on those piles of unfinished projects. So how do you navigate this, and how do you know that a track is ready?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think this is kind of just the universal struggle, which even makes me feel better, like, or something to hear you ask that, because I hate that shit. It definitely takes forever. That's super true about me, too. There's so much stuff, but I think sometimes, like, you just have to get close enough or something, and something that helps me kind of move on is, like, I'll put versions, I'll bounce stuff out of Ableton, just get it out of Ableton and like put it on a private SoundCloud link and just like listen to it in the car on my way to work, or like in my headphones and stuff, and just on my phone and on different things. And just you start to, the more you listen to your demo, I guess, like that could be the final, you start to like hear more stuff that you hate about it or something. And then usually I'll like kind of go back in and just release a couple that are just kind of private ones for myself that I can maybe send around a little to my friends or something. But yeah, I think that's kind of the way. And sometimes if I kind of really start like having something be like stuck in my head a lot, or something that I do just really like and stuff as it is, that I like maybe initially thought I could do more with, or get a better mix out of, like I kind of end up just surrendering and not caring about it, like needing to be more polished, even though I guess it could. I guess everything kind of could be like more, like perfect, but I don't know if that's like necessary or something, or like I don't know. I think it's like what's happened with me, or it's a proven fact from my experience, is that when I'm trying to do too much, like, or technically, it's like sometimes good to just start over or something, or like move on, or like release it and just get it out. And like, I think with this project right now, I'm kind of just, yeah, it's at a point where like it's hard for me to feel like everything is totally done. I guess right now I'm kind of just working on art and stuff, and want to not be, yeah, I don't know, but like the kind of art, but like, yeah, I don't know. Time is hard to come across like and shit, and I'm not trying to put too much pressure, but yeah, it's kind of like ridiculous, because stuff can really, you can call it quits at like any stage when you really think about it. But I guess for me, maybe like once it's like really stuck in my head and stuff, sometimes maybe some of the shit that I feel like is unfinished, I can kind of just like give up on at times, and other times I don't know, because it's like it can feel like you're just like beating a dead horse, if you're just like trying and trying and trying new stuff on a track that's like been done for a super long time, but you feel like there's something that needs to change about it. Sometimes it might just be good to release it, and then that's only something that you'll think, and then the next song that you're able to work on now could be better. I don't know, something that goes.
Yeah, I suppose like it's important in all creative activities in general, and not to get fixated on one thing too much, and have this ability to like ditch something when it's like a dead end.
Yeah, I think also just then being like kind of just like training yourself to be like more comfortable with kind of just like not like being too much of a perfectionist or something. But I think this is like something where some of my tapes was definitely being a perfectionist, like to a fault. But then in other ways, it was like to a success, in my opinion, or something, or it was like to my standard or something. And like just kind of like refine, or I guess like more healthily practice being a perfectionist, or like more efficiently or something. I think it comes with like time or something. And I feel like with the stuff I've been working on for the past year to 2 years is like stuff that I'm like letting myself be a perfectionist about again, after a couple years of like being like rejecting that and shit, for the sake of like getting ideas out and like maybe making more progress. But like right now I feel like I'm kind of stuck on this thing that I'm letting myself be a perfectionist about, but it's like kind of at a point where that's all done, and right now I'm just trying to do all the steps of releasing music that like I'm just not like good at, like, and stuff, like just getting it like finally wrapped up. I don't know, like.
Do you think it has something to do with like confidence, like having confidence to make mistake, or being confident that you need to put enough hours in something?
Yeah, like I mean, I guess when you're feeling more confident, I feel like it's like you can kind of definitely finish stuff more decisively and stuff. That's definitely an aspect. But I think like also I think like I'm kind of like with this tape from the beginning, like it was like I think each time I'm like working on something, it's like I'm kind of trying to like go about it from like in a different pace or something, like, or like whatever I'm kind of, I don't know, like right now I think it's just like it was always important for me to like really like let this one like marinate for a while and just be like not something that I'm like trying to push away so quickly or something, and like I can sit with it for a while and like get the details like find out refined like more like I don't know, just like specifically like I guess or something. But then like I think after this then it's time to just kind of like go back into doing the opposite and like having a more like free kind of music practice or something. I don't know.
I see that you've been doing this for quite a long time, and I see that you have like an established process of, you know, getting a track done. And in the light of this, how do you prevent yourself from following a beaten path and doing same thing over and over again? Because I suppose you could like, you know, churn out those breakbeats, something like non-stop if you had a chance. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like it's like I think that's like if anything like kind of like for this tape is like kind of the it's like I feel like I've like you get to like a culmination point where like right now I feel like I'm utilizing like the skills that I've kind of like taught like learned over the past like few like tapes or something, yeah, in the past couple of years, and like right now I'm kind of able to use them in the most like I don't know, like informed way, like so far. So I feel like after this and like at other points in the time that I've made music, it's like I like need to teach myself something new, or just like even learning like a new DAW or something, or like just learning a new way to achieve like songwriting and to make music is like a good thing. And then I think once you get so like skilled at the new tool or like whatever it might be, the new process or like just new way of making the music, then you can kind of like start to intertwine that with your old ways and stuff that you're kind of been taking a break from. Yeah, so this is like a newer like glitch track towards the end that's just like recordings of me, I think just on my phone, just like sloshing spit around in my mouth and stuff. And then in the thing it's like that, I don't know, I think that's another cool thing that I've been trying to practice like for a while, but like maybe underutilized, but it's just like kind of recording your own samples, even just snares and stuff. And like I think I learned that from watching like a Rusko like masterclass like or something where he was like producing on his computer in like 2010 or something, and it's like he was saying that that was some cool YouTube knowledge, just like being like, if you don't like your snare, or just like to layer your snare, just being like or something, just making the noises with your mouth and just having a beatbox noises is like kind of clutch, honestly. And like also sometimes like if I'm trying to like put some snap into some other sample, like having these kind of like ones from your mouth hit like let's see, so just like the gargling noises, and then a bunch of compression, overdrive, this erosion one, and even more distortion, flanger, chorus, hella shit on the glitches, and then also the transpose and filter automation. That's just for like, yeah, the final kind of. And then I guess there was 2 more basses at a certain part over here. Kind of like a DNB roller. And this like arpeggio. Kind of like, yeah. This one is like, yeah, just like a basic shape in there. Yeah, it's kind of diode distortion.
This is almost like some dubstep synth.
Yeah, totally. Like, definitely. Like, that's what I'm saying. Because Serum is kind of for like dubstep tutorials. So these are kind of usually the kind of tutorials for all the sound design that I know about Serum is all dubstep shit. Yeah, and like some kind of drum and bass stuff. But yeah, even just like adding this layer is like only in here for second half of the song. So I guess maybe that's like a technique that I use a lot too. Is like maybe a breakcore logic would just be the mashup of having like this be the basses that I'm combining with my like my stand-up bass, like but then yeah, the other one, I don't know, just layered together, they sounded nice. Let's see with this one. And this is also just a preset that I think I like changed the distortion on or something, maybe, I don't know, something like that. Yeah. That's another thing that I like to do while I'm mixing is to also to just do this kind of sort of thing where you're just like soloing like only certain tracks together and then like seeing how they work just together and just like listening to stuff over and over and over, adding in the next layer, and seeing if it like sounds like it's working, and then another one. Like, yeah, like this high one like definitely like covers, I think, the mid and like like aspects that are there earlier, but I think it's like kind of like when I'm producing, it's just like the sacrifices that I'll kind of make and sometimes maybe try to perfect and get it in, but sometimes you just want one thing to be louder, I guess. Like
also a lot of this like the way you're showing this is like compositionally it's pretty like classical thing, maybe not in a sense of classical music, but like in a sense of like music theory and stuff, and then there are those layers of like dissonance on top of it, and I think it like kind of syncs in and out with the musicality.
Right. Because like, yeah, it's like kind of funny because it's like I feel like in here a lot of the time too in DAWs and stuff, something that's like so. I don't know if this is a good habit or a bad habit, but it's like I'll kind of just end up copying the layers down and then changing the octave that they're in on the other instrument. So it's kind of just like a lot of the same melody, even in a lot of layers. Like for me, that I like will slightly change or something. Whereas like if I'm playing bass with someone who's playing keyboard or something, it'll be like we're I don't know. You think about it in like a different way, like and stuff, or even using something that's like less easy to copy paste like the same MIDI data over to different tracks. So like that's something that like is just like a workflow of Ableton that I think makes songwriting kind of like a little more like quick or something maybe. But like yeah, it's pretty weird. Like and stuff, yeah, because it's like for me it's especially with this the separating stuff by like low, mid, high is just kind of like I think like an easy way, like if I'm having like writer's block or something too, to just like choose a random instrument that's in the low in as a bass or something, and then one that's like and using the orchestra instruments. Yeah, it's easy to do that, and then it's like simply just songwriting, just coming up with your own shit.
All right. I think it was a pretty thorough walk through your project.
Yeah. I feel like kind of brain deaded though. I'm like, oh my god, like I need to get my like my ability to like do a presentation down a little better.
No, this was much more linear than I expected to be, to be honest.
Right. Yeah, the walkthrough. Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. It's like I think this is like a nice example, like or something like if we opened up another one, like I couldn't promise like the same level of clarity and organization, which I think is just like something that maybe I'm proud of and stuff, because this one is like the product of like so many years of like just losing yourself in like a project file and stuff, and I think those are the hardest ones to actually be able to like salvage and like get to a finished state. So yeah, I'm glad that it was followable.
It's more the better that you were able to share all of this with us. So Helga, thank you very much for that. We will be keenly awaiting your next project. And with the viewers or listeners, let's catch up on the next episode of Walk Me Through Your Project for Undertone. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.